Welcome back to Bibliophiles Audiophiles. We are continuing the ABC challenge. Today we're doing the letter U, and we decided to go with The Unkindness of Ravens by John Ryland. We met him at both Summerton events, I believe, and we got the book the first event, I believe, or the second.
I got it during the first event
The first
because
event, okay.
I met him because I was going around on I don't know, I don't want to call it the weird side, but the first year they had like all the authors in like the grass, and most of them were like romance authors. And then there was this little bridge that you went over, and there was a bunch of more authors, and they were more of
Mm-hmm.
like the dark and not romance stuff pretty much.
Yeah,
So I don't want to say it's the weird section, but
the weird
you
section. No, I'm just kidding.
but you know what I mean. So he was talking about his book, and I got interested because he was like, "Oh, it's like this girl. She goes into the woods and she finds like a dead body or something, and then there's ravens involved." I don't remember exactly how he sold it to me, but it sounded really interesting, and I was just like, "Well, you know what? I've never read something like this, and if you say it's good, I'll give it a shot." So
Mm-hmm.
here we are.
Here we are. Okay, so it is available on Amazon for $2.99 for the Kindle version. It is not on Kindle Unlimited and it's not on Spotify. The description is as follows. Overlooked by grief-stricken parents, 13-year-old Miranda follows a raven into the woods behind her house. When it leads her to the dead body of a young boy, her past awakens in ways she could never imagine. After deciding to keep the body a secret and taking on the role of protector, she realizes that the remaining flock of ravens also have their sights set on the body, whom she has named Andy. Haunted by memory fragments of the death of her younger brother, the desire to protect Andy quickly becomes an obsession, and so do the ravens. Fortunately, Miranda knows just how to deal with the birds who can't keep a secret. The trigger warnings are animal cruelty, animal death, child death, grief, and alcohol.
Sounds about right to me.
Yep.
Mainly because I'm the ones that put them on there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, no, I did my review and I looked and I'm like, oh, well, there's no trigger warnings on this. So I was like, well, I might as well
Yeah.
keep tabs.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
anyways, for the reviews, there's not too many because John Ryland is a very small author.
Yeah.
His average rating on Storygraph is a 4.38, and there's not many reviews on it. There's one, it's a 4.5. It says a good thriller novella that struggles to find early footing, but eventually gets there and goes some interesting places. On Goodreads, the average rating is a 4.10. The lowest rating I found on there was a 3, and it says the perfect short, creepy story to read while working the graveyard shift, which totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5 star on Goodreads says this was a very well written novella about an 11-year-old girl who has some very deep repressed emotional trauma. Her discovery of a child's body leads to her to have a breakdown. Please check your triggers before reading. I did not and was very surprised at how dark this was. I wanted to mention that one of the comments or reviews that are left on here,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the one that I just read, was by an author that was also at Summerton Book Fest.
Oh,
I think you talked to her. It was Kristen Darrell.
yes.
Yeah, so she also commented on it and she said it was delightfully creepy and she can't wait to read more by him. And then on Amazon, the average rating is 4.6 out of 5. The lowest rating I found on there was actually a 4 star, well, with substance at least. And it says, I felt for poor Miranda throughout the story, kept me reading till the end. And then the 5 star I picked says, another gripping tale by John Ryland. This one had me uneasy and concerned for the main character, kept me on the edge of my seat. And that's it.
That's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote. And now,
Okay. The man of the hour.
of every hour, James. James.
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
First note is A Lonely Girl in a Lonely World because it made me think of the song.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
My first note is completely unrelated to literally anything in the book.
Well, what is it?
We read a lot of male authors, and I wanted to know your opinion on all the male authors that we've read so far. Because I remember a
I,
long time ago you told me you don't like male authors.
so far, in all the books that we have read, I am pretty sure the only book that I have rated 5 stars that was written by a male author was They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. It's not that I'm sexist or anything. I swear I'm not. But I can see and like feel honestly a huge difference in male and female authors. And I mean, I normally don't pay attention to authors when I go into the book, And I could probably tell you in the first couple chapters, or probably in the first one actually, if it's written by a male or a female, just because of the way they write. They're so different. And I always get the ick when I'm reading a male author work. I don't know why, but I don't like it. I don't like male. It's not that I don't like them, it's that I don't like the way they write. Like there's no feeling in it. It's very like cynical and like to the point. There's no like feeling or attention to little details, like it is so different. Like I don't like that. It's very I like if I wanted to read a book just to get to the point, I would just read the summary that someone wrote online, you know?
But that's fair. I get it, and it's probably just because women are much more mushier than men.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't want it to be like, I don't want to be like sexist where I'm like, oh, I just prefer, I prefer, female authors. Male authors can't write. It's just that I mean, I think they can. There's some that I'm like, wow, like you made an entire world. But others are short stories. And I don't mind short stories, but I prefer series. And I have not found a series by a man besides Adam Silvera that I really liked.
That's fair.
I'm pretty sure that's the only one that I have five-starred.
I went to go look. You didn't even five-star Bob.
See, it's not that I don't like the Mathematician. I do. That's it. That's all I got. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to male authors.
See, I really liked Bob's like Southern charm because it was actually somewhat accurate. Like I know like that's supposed to be like satire or whatever, but I thought it was really like charming for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just crazy. But
I mean, you are crazy, but
yeah, honestly. But the only thing that I didn't like about that is like, I mean, it's a magician wizard. I'm aware of that. But at the same time, it's so left field.
that's
I
true.
five-starred Legends and Lattes. That's written by a man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The rest of these, well, I'm assuming I mean, their name is Travis. So I'm assuming it's a
I mean, you
man.
never know. There might be a girl named Travis,
There
but
could be. Yeah, I'm going through the rest of my 5 stars online and they're all like there's Adam Silvera, but the rest of these are women.
well,
I just like women, okay? Sue me.
okay, we know you're gay.
I know, honestly, I should have been. I'm just kidding. No,
My
for
actual
real.
first note, though, that's related to the book.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So she killed a raven. Isn't
Mhm.
that bad luck?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is like insanely bad luck, which I didn't really know that until like watching Smosh and they're playing Resident Evil and Spence keeps shooting the crows and the ravens and stuff and like it's making Amanda very mad because she's like that is such bad luck. Like you're not supposed to harm those. And they're actually birds are actually very very smart, especially
Yes.
crows. Like oh my gosh, they are brilliant. It's crazy how smart they are.
And there's a whole like they hold a grudge kind of thing with
Oh,
crows,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
like they remember you and stuff like that. But like these are ravens, so they're different.
Oh yeah, they're different.
But
I
that's
think
the
they're
first thing I
smart
thought
too.
was like, oh, well, they're definitely smart.
Yeah.
I mean, just based off of reading this book, if the ravens act anything close to like what they act in this book,
Hmm.
they're smart. Yeah, that was the only thing that kept going through my mind through this book because it's not that she killed one, but she killed
Several.
27.
Yeah.
27.
Did you count?
No, they said 27
Oh,
at the end of the book.
oh, it's
So she,
crazy that you say that.
yeah. Anyway, so she kills 27 of them. And
That's a
not only
lot.
that, but she like pins them and ties them up on the trees, like
Hmm.
macabre
Hmm.
decorations. Like, whew, if that's not bad luck.
No, I mean the fact that a child was doing all that kept giving me the heebie-jeebies because I'm like, that's a kid.
Right?
But yeah, so she found Andy, a body in a dead boy in the woods who she's preventing, and like it made me really sad because I'm like, oh, maybe she's just really lonely because she started bringing like candles so he would be scared of the dark and toys and like a tarp to keep the animals away. But like this girl needs some help.
She needs so much help.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because she thought that the boy, not that she thought the boy was her brother that had died, but she felt like he was, because when she was 3, her parents had a baby
Mhm.
that died. And so they were like, oh, well, she was so young, she didn't remember him, but like she did.
Yes.
Which is
Uh,
speaking of, what kind of whack backward parents are going to have a second child that dies, and then they're just like, maybe she doesn't remember.
yeah, I mean, she's 3. I mean, she's might not remember everything, but she might remember some things.
Yeah, like a sibling that died.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, she'll never know," but yet they have a picture in the house with the baby in it. So like,
But it's
you
in their
think
bedroom, and they don't expect her to be in their bedroom.
I don't know what kind of people these are. My kids are in my bedroom all the time. That's their favorite room in the house. If I get up at
Um,
midnight and I don't step on a toy, something's wrong, you know?
yeah, you're right. It's not what's the best
Normal.
way to explain it? It's definitely not normal. The way I interpreted it is that, and I needed help. So I was talking to my boyfriend about this book because I was just giving him a rundown of everything that was going on. So pretty much we've deduced pretty much together that she's
Oh,
protecting Andy, or his real name's actually Marshall,
yeah.
because she feels guilty that instead of protecting or helping her brother when he died, she played with his toys and went back to bed. So she's harboring this guilt because she thinks if
Yeah,
she
she
would
felt
have
like that's
gotten
her
up
fault.
and went to her parents' room and been like, hey, he's not breathing, then he might potentially still be alive. But instead, she was like, oh, I never get to play with his toys, so I'm going to play with his toys. And then went back to bed. And then, like, however long after that, her mom found him and he died. Or he was dead already. But
Yeah,
going back
sorry,
to
I had
those
to.
candles, though, that's such a fire hazard.
I know, like just a tent in the woods. She could have started a wildfire
She could have.
and then nobody would have found the body.
Well, they probably would have, and then they would have been like, oh, poor thing. Must have died in the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the other thing, because you were talking about everything she was bringing, one of the other things that she brought was a Lysol because the decomposing body was smelling
Oh,
so bad. So she
absolutely.
was spraying Lysol all over the place just to get rid of the smell,
Which is a fire hazard.
which, in addition to the candles, is a fire hazard.
Yeah. I mean, I have a preteen age sister, and like reading this book really bothered me because I kept imagining my sister doing this stuff, who is like, she's preteen age.
Hmm.
And so I'm kind of like, I did not like this book very much. Like, I'm going to be completely transparent. As a mother, someone who has, children around the age of her when her little brother died, my daughter having a little brother, and then my sister being the same age as the female main character, I did not enjoy this book at all because it made me like severely upset and it was very triggering.
Yeah, this
And
was
so,
different.
I mean, I like the author. He's a really nice guy because like we've met him a couple times
Yes.
and it's just, or I think two or three times now, but like I could not finish this book. I had to DNF it because it was to the point where I dreaded reading it. And if I ever get to the point where a book makes me like physically feel queasy to read it because of how triggering it is, I have to DF. Like I'm not
That's
going to continue to put
fair.
myself through that over and over.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely valid.
It was rough.
It was rough. I had to put it down for a
Yeah.
little bit. I ended up reading some of it a day, and then I put it down for a couple days, and then I picked
Yeah.
it up again, and then I pretty much finished it in one day because you can finish it in a day. It's pretty
It's like
short.
100 pages. Yeah, it's not long.
And so I had to put it down in the middle of that day that I was binge reading it just because it got it got,
Rough.
you know? Because like one of the things that like not like irked me. It wasn't like it's not like it irked me, but it like added on to like the whole creepy factor
Hmm.
is that the whole time she's like talking in this book, it's like this one-sided conversation. So like all you hear is like the stuff that, well, you don't hear because you're not listening to it, but like the only thing you're reading is like what she's saying to Andy,
Yeah.
but you're not hearing what he's saying back. You're just hearing her responses. So that like added on to like that whole creepy factor because it's like,
Yeah.
what is he saying that's triggering these comments back, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
No,
then
it's ugh.
And then killing the birds. It was really graphic explanation of it too.
It
I was just
was.
like, ooh.
See, as far as like creep factor, I think this author hasn't. Like he's got a lot. All
Oh,
of his books are
100%.
very like gothic horror, like esque. But I can't do kids. Like I'm not P Diddy.
No, that's fair. I just got that.
No, it's just yeah, her parents like sent her to therapy because they sensed something was off with her, probably because she's hiding a dead body in the woods. But like, anyways, and there was like a raven outside, and then she was telling the therapist like it's mocking me and it's being mean to me, and so she picked up a paperweight and threw it at it,
Yep.
and then everyone was like mad at her because they're like, why did you do that? Not like, oh my gosh, this kid's having a mentee B. Like
Yeah.
if my kid were to do something like that, I would find another therapist and be like, fix it.
Yeah. Because like obviously there was something that
There's a
happened with that
problem. Yes.
therapist that triggered something because she doesn't act out like that.
Mm-mm.
So, and the therapist was kind of like starting to do stuff, but then when she realized that like he was figuring it out or getting closer
Yeah.
to like figuring out what she's talking about.
She
And that's
shut
why
down.
she did not just shut down, but that's why she distracted him with like the raven
Yeah.
and threw that paperweight, I'm pretty sure, because she wanted to keep that secret because she's trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Which, with the whole protecting thing, covering him with a tarp and the Lysol and stuff like that, she's
Yeah.
like totally tampering with the crime scene.
Oh, absolutely. I kind of get it because she's like, they dumped you here and like nobody loved you enough to come looking for you. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know you were missing. I don't know who you were. Like, I get those parts of it, but like, if she was an adult, she would be like convicted of like tampering with evidence and, touching a
Yeah.
body and stuff like that. Yeah. I forgot what it's called, but something to do with a corpse. Like, if you mess with a corpse, there's a
Yeah.
certain, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the one-sided combos, though, going back to that.
Hmm.
So, one of the things she said that kind of made me chuckle in like a dark humor kind of sense
Hmm.
is she says, "It's a good thing," and she's talking to Andy. She says, "It's a good thing you don't think I'm a killer," as she's surrounded by 27 dead ravens that are hung
Oh my gosh.
hung by nails and stuff,
Yeah, dude,
like
she
on the
she beat
walls,
dead
on the
birds with
trees.
sticks, and then at one
Yes.
point she stomped on baby rats.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot
Like,
about that.
oh my, like I made a note about that part because I was just like, what the actual freak? Because
She did that,
I put
and
that, and then I put a nice, sane, normal kid, you know?
yeah. And then she gagged one of the birds because it kept cawing at her. And so
Yeah.
she's just like, "I'll teach you," and gags it.
And that was
And
very like detailed.
yes, it was. And I was just like, "Oh."
Yeah, it was not enjoyable.
So one of my things is an editing issue.
Okay.
So I was reading the book, and one of the things I noticed is that the grandma, do you remember the grandma's name?
No, I just wrote her down as grandma in one of my notes.
Okay, so first she was called Grandma Virginia, and then like several pages later she's called Grandma Victoria. So it
Oh, so
switched.
maybe it was two names that they couldn't decide and they accidentally put both.
And then like later it goes back to being Virginia. So it looks like
I
her
didn't notice
name
that.
was
Yeah.
I noticed it. Well, I was binging it all in one day, so that's why I probably noticed it because I read
Yeah.
it all in like one day. But yeah, I noticed that. I don't know if that's been fixed since then, but that was a note I made because,
One of my remaining notes is Grandma always said, "Ain't he a dandy?" about her baby brother when he was born, but
Yep,
she could only say Andy. And so
yep,
that's why, whenever I got to that part of the book, that about made me cry because I'm like,
yeah.
she is referring to this, dead boy in the woods as her little brother that nobody thinks she remembers. And like, how lonely had she felt because she was having a full-blown quote unquote relationship and friendship with someone that she wanted to be her brother, but they were dead.
Yeah, that made my heart hurt a little bit.
I know, it's so sad.
And like they kept saying that, "Ain't he dandy?"
Yeah, ain't he a dandy? And so she started calling him Andy. My last note is she runs away and it takes days to find her, and she was holed up in the woods with Andy the entire time.
Yes, and she put camouflage all over herself and was hiding, and she saw the drone coming, and
Yeah.
she went and hid because she didn't want to be found, and then finally she decided to jump and attack the drone
Yeah.
because she was just like, "You guys aren't going to find me," but they ended up finding her.
Yeah.
And the cops who were watching the drone saw her and they were like, "She's messed up."
Yeah, the part where she's holed up in the woods and they're using the drone to find her, that's where I DNF'd because I just had, like, especially because I was talking about how upset the mom was because mom's like, my son died, my daughter's missing, she's probably gonna wind up dead. And, like, the parents are, rightfully losing their minds.
Yep.
And, that's when it became too much for me. That's when I had to
That's
DNF.
that's that's
So
fair.
anything after that, I don't know what happened because I just physically could not make myself do it.
Well, my last note is going to tell you what happened.
Okay, tell me, girl.
Okay. So,
So,
after they figure out where she is and they see the whole thing, so they
mhm,
go to the woods to where she's located. I think the dad joins. So
yeah.
he's part of that search party with like the cops.
He
And
was.
they walk up and they see the tarp on the ground and they see the ravens all like over the trees, like tied up and stuff like that. And, they were decomposing too. That's what really like grossed me out too, is the fact that like they were
Yeah.
decomposing bodies and they were like
Hmm.
talking about how like the meat was falling off the bones. And I was like,
Hmm.
ugh. Okay.
Blech.
Anyways, so they see this and they knew she was in the area and they found her. And so they decided because they got rid of the tarp and they saw Andy slash Marshall on the ground, they were like, "Oh, there's a dead body here." They didn't think it was her, and pretty much the whole ending of this is, you know what? We're just gonna ignore the 27 birds that you killed and turn it to macabre decor, and say you found slash protected the dead body of this boy.
You did it. Good job, sweetheart.
Yeah, and then the pretty much the last couple pages is her visiting Marshall's grave and talking to him and kind of just, I think, saying goodbye to him.
Yeah.
I don't know what ended up happening to his parents because his parents are the ones that ended up, dumping his body. So
Yeah. Which that's so
uh,
sad.
that is so sad. You could tell that they were like druggies too because of
Yeah.
the way they were like talking and acting like they were like not fully there.
Yeah.
And the way that he hid
Mm-mm.
the body was just under like a whole bunch of leaves or something. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna hide a body,
Has some decorum, especially a child.
you can't just hide it with leaves. So like he had to have been on something to think that that was a good enough way to hide the
Yeah.
body.
And the fact that an entire child disappeared and like schools, family members, like nobody noticed,
Yeah.
it was really upsetting. Yeah, I did not like this book, which I'm still gonna rate it probably. I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5 out of 5 because it wasn't horrible,
Mm.
but I don't think I've ever read anything worse. No, 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 that I'm gonna say no. Hang on.
No,
Let me rephrase that. I don't think I have read anything more disturbing than this book.
that's
So if
true.
you like to be mentally shook to your core, then I would recommend this one.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no other reason that I would ask anyone, much less a mother, to read this.
Yeah.
Maybe his other books are not as like child based, and maybe this is the only one that involved kids, but I will not be reading any more of his books because he scared me with this one. I
He's
am going to
scary.
consider myself shooketh.
In terms of my like ending comments on this book is like very much my not my genre at all.
Nope.
Like
No.
the fact that it wasn't my genre made me really not like I didn't like that. It left me feeling like very uneasy, which
Mm-hmm.
definitely was the point. So that's very good job on his part for being able to
Yeah,
eh,
exactly.
bring that emotion to me.
Yeah.
I was genuinely scared.
Yes.
So that was another thing. Another good job on your part. But I also did feel like it was like missing some things. Like I definitely think he could have expanded the story maybe just a little bit more. That there could have been a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I surprisingly I enjoyed it a lot, given it wasn't my genre, but because
Hmm.
of how
Dark.
disturbing and dark it was,
Yeah.
I couldn't give it more than like a 3.5, to be
Hmm.
honest. Which, I mean, that's the first time I've rated something a lot higher than you have.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just like, normally if I don't like something, I say it's not my cup of tea, which is, I feel like that's a very like nice way of putting it. This one wasn't even in the tea aisle for me. Like this one's not my cup of tea. Very much so not.
Yeah, it's not my genre, but I think he did a really good job
Oh,
with writing
absolutely.
it and explicit and like bringing out those kind of like emotions and stuff.
Exactly.
So it's a really well written book. It's just
So
not
if
for me.
anyone ever is looking for books that's gonna make you like hurt, I would probably recommend this guy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You want to do your comments or do you want me to do mine?
That was already my comments.
My buzzwords are DNF, dark and depressing.
Wow, 3Ds.
Thank God I didn't pick words that started with K.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, thank you for listening to this episode of Bibliophiles Audiophiles. If you'd like to reach us, we have an email at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com. You can email us regarding author interviews if you are an author or know an author who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you know of a book that we might like to do, definitely let us know.
And we have an Instagram at Biblio Audio Podcast. Got things on there,
Yeah,
um,
stuff and things.
stuff and things like trigger warnings for books we're reviewing on the podcast
Hmm.
and little teaser clips of podcast episodes. So you should check those out. And
Hmm.
we have a website. It's
Oh,
biblioaudiopod.com. We're finally catching up on them blog posts.
yes.
Once we edit some tweaks and stuff, we might have them all out and up to dated.
I know, that'd be nice.
And then like we could start releasing those weekly like normal people.
I know.
So,
Lord.
we have that.
Oh, and also the Summerton Book Fest has been renamed to the Foothills Book Fest. It is
Yep.
going to be located in Jasper
Yep.
instead of Summerton. And the date for that is October 11th,
Yep.
2025. It's going to be indoors, so we'll have plumbing. There's going to
And
be air
AC.
conditioner.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, you don't have to worry about tents blowing over and hitting any little old ladies that are just trying to
yes.
crochet next to you.
That totally did not
Like,
happen. Like,
no.
no, that did not happen to us.
No, not at all. Not on our first ever book event either. Like that would have
Yeah.
been mortifying. So definitely come see us. We will have some things out there and possibly another book lovers basket because those seem to be a really big hit.
Yes. Or some other things.
And some other
Probably some
things.
other things.
Yeah. All right. Well, you'll hear us in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.